Welcome everyone to our July live stream where we already had our technical difficulties, so if all goes well, everything should be smooth from now on. Welcome everyone to our July live stream. No, we're good. So yeah, hi and welcome. I think this time round we want to focus on the interface changes. I think that's what seems to be most important to everyone right now. So I think that's what we're going to talk about. And then perhaps also Jay will be showcasing a few of the things he's been working on lately and maybe go into more depth about the Relations Explorer. Oh yeah, and welcome Karen Ampos. you are here from the beginning. I feel like the stars have aligned. Something sacred is happening right now.
That's one bingo case
So
less
as
to
usual,
drink to.
like throw your questions at us as this goes on. We're always happy to answer anything, and we will, we'll take this as an informal chat as always. Anything to add, Jay?
Nope. Thanks for joining us and dealing with us during our technical difficulties, as always.
I can't hear Jay. Am I the only one?
You can't hear me?
Am I cursed us when I said that.
Ah, damn it.
That like
Oops, that posted it.
we weren't going to have any technical difficulties.
When I post in the chat app, it posts you now. So
can anyone other? Oh, you can hear him. Okay, great.
okay, so it's just you.
This is going to be
Did you did you mute Discord?
Oh, I can do. Great.
Okay, so it's just you.
This is going to be
Did you mute Discord?
Great. No.
I feel like okay. So it's just you. In the future, we need 2 cards.
This is going to
Did you have technical difficulties?
Wait.
Did you mute this?
So, keep speaking, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
I can now hear you. Who knows what happened or how? But we're in business finally. You know what? Like, if we think about it, just as a side note for a second, we've been doing these live streams for about a year now, and we still seem incapable of getting them right. It's impressive, honestly. Yeah. I think I impress us. We impress me. Double bingo.
Question is the Twitch live stream working? Because it worked when it was from my computer.
I think so. I think I see
when we're streaming from my computer the other time. Okay.
Let me just connect to Twitch, see if I'm crazy or if we are.
There's one person is watching from Twitch.
Yeah, but it's not working for me. I don't know. So yeah. If we get straight down to business, perhaps what we can start with is yeah, oh, you know what the echo was? I realized what the echo was. I as a last resort, I decided to turn on, because I've got YouTube on one of the tabs open, and I decided to unmute YouTube so I could hear Jay through the stream, even if there'd be like a 30-second delay, which was a terrible solution to a not great problem. But that's why you guys probably had echo, because it was probably playing the YouTube video through my sound system. Anyway, we should be good now because I can hear Jay through Discord, and we've only wasted 10 minutes with technical difficulties. So.
And Twitch seems to be working for Valdu.
Oh, perfect. I mean, honestly, this seems to be one of the best outcomes we've had in a while. Cool. Yes. So, Jay, perhaps you want to start with your initial gut reactions to the changes that we made, and then I'll chime in, and then we can go over some of the community reactions and some of our thoughts moving forwards about what we liked, what we think we might change over time, and what seems to be the general consensus from the feedback that we've received, of course.
Yeah. So a bit of feedback, background. Just under a month ago, we released a new UI for entity views, which we've been working on for several months now with a designer. And the goal was always to make the entity headers simpler and redesign the main page of an entity to be clearer, to showcase features to new users better, and to kind of take out some of the clutter out of the interface. And so a month ago, we released our first update or first redesign towards that goal. And it's been very exciting working on it and seeing the reaction of the community, which you'll go more in detail in a bit. And yeah, as with all change, there are pain points, and we've tried to work on some of them. Some of them are deeper changes where I, as a non-designer, cannot take many. I don't feel comfortable taking decisions. So we're waiting to see what our designer comes up with. But yeah, so far, I'm trying to think what I can say without going into what you want to say based on the community. I love the new design. It makes using Kanka for me way nicer. Having all entity nodes as pinned is a massive improvement. The new interface to reorder entity nodes of drag and drop is, I don't know why it took so long for me to build that. And yeah, just making headers also between boosted and unboosted with the background image. Now they always kind of act the same. It works better on mobile. So I'm very happy with the new design.
I mean, I think that's definitely a positive, because if you and I weren't happy with it, then I think we'd be in trouble. But you know, if we think of some of the feedback that we've received and how this sort of has evolved since it's been almost a month now that we put this in place, or has it? It's been a full month, hasn't it?
Yes? Question mark?
Yes, question mark. Yeah, so I think the initial reactions were on balance positive, but I think, as with everything, you know, we as people don't like change. So when some things change a lot, I think there's always an initial gut reaction of, "Ooh, I didn't really want this. I kind of like the way things were," and go back to how it was. And I think some of the initial reactions were perhaps um, a bit more mixed. There was definitely an undercurrent of, "We like this, but," and that's definitely the feeling we got, or the feeling I got at least, in the first sort of few days, call it the first week. Then as time has gone by, and more of you have sort of wrapped your heads around all the changes that have appeared, um, the feedback has become more and more positive, which I think we can be quite happy about. Um, there's definitely been less annoyance at the changes, and more of you have seen the value in what has been modified. So that's definitely been really nice to see and really nice to hear, because I know that at least for me, like, after a couple of days of, okay, this is good, but you know, I was already trying to brainstorm all the 50 different changes we could make to address those bugs, and as time has gone by, I feel like, not all, of course, because there are still certain things that come through semi regularly, but I do feel that we've received less um, constructive criticism and just more sort of people being happy, which is good. Which is what we set out to do. So I think we still need to find this balance, because there are still, of course, a few users who aren't fully happy with the changes, and I think that a lot of these users, well, I say a lot, there aren't that many, but of those users, they're definitely, they make some valid points. You know, I think we always said it. These changes are going to evolve. They're not sort of set in stone, and this is the first step of a multi-step process. And I think that like receiving the feedback that we've received, we're definitely confident that this first step is a first step in the right direction. I don't think that I would now consider rolling back everything that we've done. I think most of the changes that have been put in place are here to stay, with perhaps a few tweaks here and there. And of course, as we move further through the process and through the steps of all the changes that we will be making over the next few months, then there will be further fine tuning. But for those of you who still have issues with the new layout, I just want to say, like, keep talking to me. Keep sending me messages. I'm still here to listen, and what you say matters. Like, not everything, of course, can be taken into consideration, because some of the requests I've heard will go against what seems to be the majority feeling right now. But it doesn't mean that like it doesn't matter. It's important to us that we keep that open channel of communication, and it's important that everyone can say what they feel about these changes. Um, so yeah, sorry, that was a bit of rambling, but all this to say that it seems to have gone in a good direction. We're mostly happy with the changes. There might be a few tweaks that we make here and there, just to, you know, take into take into consideration the more sort of unique use cases that we can address without it impacting the user base as a whole. And so yeah, we're still refining. It's kind of unfortunate that our designer, who is very talented and we're very thankful for, went on holiday shortly after we put in so big changes. It's both good and bad. I think it's good in the sense that like it's definitely given time for people to get to grips with the changes, and for opinions about the changes to, I don't know if mature is the right word, but to be less gut reactions and more sort of thought out, um, thought out, thoughts and hopes for what can and cannot change. Um, so that's definitely been good, but it's also been a bit unfortunate in the sense that we haven't been able to react at all. As Jay says, he's not particularly comfortable making these changes as a non-designer. I'm not really a designer myself. I'm not particularly comfortable making these changes either. I have ideas, but then, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, ultimately, design's not it's not my thing either. So yeah, it's yeah, Waldo, if you wanna PM me every day saying you still love it, like, I'd be happy, because sometimes some users are less happy and not always necessarily that nice about it, and I think it's always valid to have strong feelings. I think it's important to see the positive in that, because these are obviously people who care very deeply for Kanka, and who definitely have their own vision of the way that we should move forwards. And so I I don't want to in any way diminish their contributions, um, but sometimes I do end up being just a little bit sad because of because of the way that people react. And it's always, yeah, it's so important to keep in mind that they do this because they care. They take time out of their days to communicate how they feel. And that to me is important, because it means that we are doing something right with Kanka, to the point where, yeah, they want to take that time and they want to share with us, and they want to hope that their um, constructive criticism helps us move in the right direction. So that I'm thankful for. But um, it's not always like, yeah, it's also very nice to hear positive feedback. I've been rambling, so I'm going to let Jay jump in here and share his thoughts.
Yeah. I think this is part of the change, is giving more clarity to some of the fields and making them less important. And before, a lot of fields on like a character were kind of just dumped at the beginning, and anything you filled out had the same weight of importance. And so it was confusing to a lot of new users. Like, what are these fields really for? And for me, they were always more filterable fields. And just the way it was set up, it was easy to see those fields as, to use those fields in a different way than what we had anticipated. And also into the redesign that we didn't anticipate, with some of these fields, which are no longer as important, are very important to some other users. And taking those away from the first the main page of an entity changes their workflow in a dramatic way. And that's kind of the advantage and also the curse of the way Kanka was originally built, is there was no waiting fields. It was like everything you want to put on a character, all these fields, they'll just appear on the main page. There's no logic behind it. It's just all this information. Put as much information as you want, it will be visible. And part of the redesign is making the interface a bit clearer, moving fields, which from our research, fields which are used as filters in the majority of cases, moving them to be less prominent and take up less visual space for someone who's viewing a campaign or viewing an entity, and moving some of those fields more to a filter. I think typically of the type field, which several times in the Discord over the years, I've mentioned wanting to remove the type field and move it into tags, because tags are just types, which are more powerful and way better. But since you can just type in text on type and then they are shown and filter, it's an easier way, it's an easier setup to use types than tags if you're just using one type on a character, for example. So yeah, it's kind of a two-edged sword where Kanka was so... all the fields have the same importance in the visual, and which made it you could set up Kanka the way you wanted with these fields. But now that we've removed some importance to some of these fields, I'm rambling at this point, repeating myself.
No, but I think
But
what
yeah.
we're saying is very accurate. Like, Kanka was a lot more, I don't know if freeform is the right word, but there definitely has been a narrowing with the latest update, prioritizing certain information over others, which wasn't something that existed before. Before, it was very much whatever you wanted it to be. And I think, like, there is, I mean, obviously you and I see the value in it, and most people who've given us feedback have seen the value in it, but there's always going to be a small minority who, well, they liked the freedom that Kanka had, and they liked the fact that they could do whatever they wanted with it, and this suddenly removes certain aspects of that, and that's always going to be a harder pill to swallow, I think, rather than just simple, oh well, this item is here now, and like anyway, I didn't really care that much about it, so this is fine. It's always about those niche use cases where, yeah, it impacts them disproportionately, and there's not very much we can do in an immediate setting. It takes a bit of time for us to take in these changes and take in these comments and just see what we can do with them, so that while we keep going in the general direction that we have taken, which is sort of simplification for a beginner, it doesn't alienate those users who have specific use cases and who haven't been able, with the new design, to use Kanka in the way that they traditionally have. I think is finding that balance is the hard part, I think, and it's where we're still working things out. But yeah, I agree with you, Caroline Pass. Like, we love our community. I think it's in the bingo. We say it every live stream. The community is what makes Kanka, and I don't think any of us would change that for the world. But I really do want to say that I've never felt, from the conversations I've had, even the unpleasant conversations I've had, I've never felt like it was coming from a place of someone being aggressive or being mean. It definitely always stems from a feeling of care. Like, this is something that they care a lot about. This is something that they put a lot of time and effort in, and in that way, they feel that, I don't know what the word is, but they definitely, yeah, it doesn't stem from a bad place. It's just about being able to sort of withstand that criticism, without, yeah, yeah, it can be difficult sometimes. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But it's never mean.
And we take all the feedback into consideration. And I think for some people, it can seem like we're not moving fast based on feedback, but also it's just us two and the designer, which is on a holiday. So as you mentioned before, the timing wasn't great with us releasing this new update just as the designer went on summer holiday with kids. So we were not able to be as reactive
No.
on some elements of the new design.
Yeah.
And that compared to a big company with full-time designers, team of developers,
Of course.
could react in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And we don't have that luxury
No.
of saying, okay, let's focus, let's put 2 people to focus on this problem for the next week.
No.
Um,
And if we think like initially, our first ideas and our first hopes for the redesign were actually a year ago. A year ago, we had spoken about redesigns, and a year ago we reworked the sidebar, and that was our first attempt at sort of updating Kanka and making it more user friendly and just more visually appealing. Um, and that eventually sort of petered out because our designer kind of disappeared. Um, and so, yeah, it's not always been the smoothest road. And this time around, we found someone who is great and is patient with us as well, because I know that I sometimes can be a bit impatient. And he's been great at just kind of just telling us to wait and see and just kind of see where the dust settles and not rush to any changes and not panic completely. Um, but yeah, sorry, we're getting a question, so perhaps we can stop rambling for a second and
it's
actually
the same
answer some.
question Karalampas asked in the Discord yesterday.
Yeah, so yeah, it does of course like it creates disruptions to certain people's workflow, and we're a small team. It says that in the welcome email, we're a small team of 2 people. We answer to every email we receive. We answer as much as we can on Discord. We really make ourselves present, and we really listen to everyone. There's no hierarchy within Kanka. There's no one whose opinion matters more. It's really just about the mass at the end of the day. If 99 people want one thing and 100 and one person wants another one, then sadly the 99 are going to win out. Though we do try and make sure that that one person still has a say in the way we move forwards, because we don't. The idea isn't to alienate anyone. The idea isn't to tell you that you're wrong because everyone else thinks differently. The idea is just to tell you that, well, we'll see what we can do, but we also have to, take the steps that work best for the majority. Um, So yeah, moving on to the question: are we concerned about our approach and how we can mitigate certain aspects of this by clearer roadmaps, feedback? I'm guessing that's re-question.
Yes.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's hard to say because we definitely do feel that we communicate a lot, and because we make ourselves very much present at most hours of the day. Like either Jay or I is on Discord pretty much at any given time, and if there's like an urgent request or something to be answered, then we're here. And we have a very dedicated team of users who answer to queries at any point in time as well. Um, so yeah, we've thought about what we could do differently and how we could communicate things better. Um, Sorry, if I bring this closer to my mouth and if I slightly increase my volume here, that should be better. Feedback is definitely something where we want to improve, because I know that like we do make ourselves available, and I say I answer personally to every single email that we receive, and I'm always available for feedback if people want to talk or whatever. Um, but I guess what we are hoping to do is just perhaps standardize feedback a bit more. I think that's going to go through more regular surveys on our users, like what do you like, what don't you like, or just general surveys specifically about certain entities or certain specific items. Um, I think surveys are definitely something that we want to integrate more. Roadmaps, we publish them once a month pretty much, every time we have a community vote. What we don't necessarily do, and that's perhaps something we should be looking into moving forwards, is we don't necessarily publish roadmaps about non-community events. that's something that we tend to keep to ourselves. So if we think about Project Freya, the UI redesign and everything like that, that's something that we only spoke about during our live streams. We never really mentioned it anywhere other than a few tidbits on the Discord and the live stream. There was never an article published about it. There was never anything like that. So I think when it comes to those roadmaps, that is something we definitely need to work on a bit more and to improve.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with the new design is for many users it came out of the blue, because it was just basically mentioned as in the roadmap, we're going to focus on the new design shown at the live stream. And there was no image attached, and you had to go and find the images in the live stream. And yeah, most people don't have time to listen to us talk for an hour
Yeah.
once a month. So going back to Shadowamper's question, to mitigate this for users is just maybe sharing more in the Discord, because Discord is just the bulk of our active users.
For
I
sure.
think are on Discord. Those who want to follow the updates, like the newsletters we send with each update. Don't think there are so many people
They're not that
following
popular.
it.
There are only a few
Yeah,
hundred people who actually just follow them, and even less than that who open them. So, even though I quite systematically like send these newsletters, it's a bit dispiriting sometimes to see that they're just not necessarily read. I mean, I don't necessarily mind.
yeah.
I guess we all receive about 50 newsletters in our inboxes, but it's not
Mhm.
necessarily the best way for us to communicate
Yeah,
roadmaps or changes, I think.
yeah. And with the majority of our engaged users on the Discord, and we don't spam the announcement channel 20 times a day. Like I won't name anyone. But it's fairly easy, I think, in our case, through Discord to just keep up to date to see when there was an update,
Yeah.
because we don't spam as much announcements.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Karen. Plus, I agree with you. Most of our users don't watch live streams or are not on Discord, and we are slowly but surely trying to beef up like the announcements within the website on Kanka. So we've created new categories, and oh yeah, sorry, I was reading the the YouTube comments, but yes, so we've been sort of increasing the amount of categories and the amount of communication we kind of output throughout the website itself, and I think that might be the best way forwards. It should make sure that we reach the most amount of people. I know people don't necessarily read notifications within the app, but like at some point, if you don't read notifications, you're not on Discord, you're not on Reddit, and you don't follow the live streams, there's only so much we can do. I'm not going to go physically knock on your door and give you a lecture once a month.
And now,
So I think within the app, within the app, I think is what we're looking at more and more when it comes to communication.
yeah, and that's something when hopefully after we finish redesigning entities, we can attack the dashboard and changing notifications on the dashboard, and maybe moving the way notifications in Kanka in general work is something that I have in mind, where we have a new update, everyone gets a notification in the app, and it just shows you, like on Reddit or on Facebook or whatever, or Twitter, like you have 20 notifications you can quickly scroll through. I know you're no longer limited to the last release, but if you haven't connected in a month, you'll have those free community events, for example, or those 5 updates we've pushed.
Yeah.
In the notifications on the top, so they don't clutter your dashboard, so the dashboard can be more focused on the campaign, and B, they're easier then to either ignore, or we can put up settings like a user doesn't want notifications in the app about app releases or community events or live streams or whatever, and that way it's also not tied to the dashboard, but in the whole app you'd have your notifications pop up, or physical mail. That's the last resort.
Exactly the way to move forwards, because I think like currently I do sort of spray and pray when it comes to communication. I put it on every social media there is, and between the newsletter and like the various social media for us, I guess it's not the other than Discord, if you want to consider Discord social media, but like Facebook, we don't get that many engagements. We don't even have that many followers on Facebook. Same with Insta. Same with Reddit is quite big. I would lie if I said that Reddit wasn't a large amount of users. We've got I don't know, like 800 people who are on the subreddit. So that's a lot more than anything else put together, other than Discord. But yeah, as Jan is saying, I think that like definitely surveys. Like we want to use the website more. The website seems like the best way to reach the most amount of people without creating any issues, without sort of trying to make people go on Discord or trying to make people go on YouTube or whatnot. So yeah, I think that's the way that we are hoping to move forwards. As Jay says, it's going to be part of the redesigns when we attack the dashboard, which will hopefully come soon. Yeah, and also like to Waldy's point, social media is filtered, and social media, everyone gets so many. Like I even just look at my own, I can't even cut through the noise. Like it's not something I have time for. I get my Instagram is just like a constant stream of stuff, and like so is my Twitter. It's just so many things get lost through the noise. I think it will definitely serve our purposes more if it's through the app and people are physically there, are on the website and they're on Kanka, therefore they are interested in Kanka in that moment in time, and they're more likely to go through the notifications. But yeah, that'll be next step. we haven't yet attacked the next step of the redesign. Hopefully it's something we can start doing in the next week or two, and attack the dashboard. Yeah, it might be a Frenchism. When you've got a multi-stage process to attack the next stage, I might. It might not make as much sense in English. I'm sorry. But yeah.
All right.
Great. So if there are any more questions about the changes, then we're happy to address them. Otherwise, I think we might move on to a quick overview of what we did with the Relations Explorer.
The dashboard is going down.
Yeah. Well, nothing too violent. Let's hope. But yeah, I think it's funny. It's a conversation that we've never really had, but I know that Jay's a very big proponent of Discord. Whenever I suggest anything that doesn't have to do with Discord, Jay's answer is, "But we have Discord." And yeah, as our user base grows substantially, it becomes better to attack this from within. Attack once again to tackle this from within. Cool, right, Jay? You ready to show us some few things? I think most of you who've followed the latest update will probably know how this works.
But again, the goal of these showcases is also as a reference to people who don't follow the updates or want to try and understand a new feature. So we can link them to, hey, this is showcasing a Relations Explorer, the new modes.
Stop making sense, Jay. Right, let's move on to showcase view. Boom.
Okay, so you see my screen.
I do. And I hope I'm not the only
one. No, we're probably good. It's a one-click button. Yes, so with 1.12, I'm not looking at questions anymore. So Jon, interrupt me as soon as there's anything relevant. With 1.12, I shouldn't change the size of my window, otherwise it'll mess up your layout. We introduced a new way to see we redid the relations page and several submenus. We merged everything into connections. And on boosted campaigns, it will default to the Relation Explorer. And of course, I have an example which doesn't work. Oh no, this is a character with no relations. Okay. Let me start that again. So
good start, Jay.
This new connection page now defaults the boosted campaign on the Relation Explorer and will show relations. Previously, it showed relations and some, depending on the entity type, some related modules. But now it focuses by default on relations. And this is something we'll change in the future as a campaign setting. to select what's the default option on entities, and also an option to default to the table view. But relations will show direct relations of the character. Relations are related will show, for example, a character can be an author of a journal. So it will show those. Here, for example, for some reason, there's this mine, this journal, which is related to the character. I'm actually not quite sure why it's showing here, because it shouldn't. I'll have to check this. And so it shows anything related to the character, in the sense where a organization can be shown here now, an item which is held by the character, and lastly, relations, related, and mentions, which will show anywhere the character is also mentioned. So what I'm confused why this character is showing up here.
Well,
But
this is a
anyway,
great
this
start.
is probably a bug which I have to fix. Um,
We should do
and yes,
live bug fixing. That's the next
next
we should totally do
hip
that.
thing to do. But yeah, this is the explore and relation mode. And otherwise, we have the table of relations and related items. So this is the old table, which shows relations as set up on the entity. And below, related items. In this case, I don't have, which makes me think there is a bug why it's showing journals in the other view. But in this case, let me go to a solo. A solo just has a single connection, but also exactly here it will load related items. So here, all these journals have the location set as this town, and this map has this location set as a map points. So we now have this related table showing how this entity is connected to the rest of the world. And this information should be what is used in the Relation Explorer mode under related. And I'll have to check out why there's that bug on that error character. So yeah, here it's just a massive mess. Because also here it will show any character in this location, which in this case, it's a town. There's quite a few characters displayed here. I think that was it for the 1.12 stuff. Let me just quickly check the release notes. And all this information can kind of be found out on our blog, where we post every update.
Oh, maybe we can talk about the knowledge base as well for a second.
Oh yeah, that's your baby.
My baby. Well, so just to give a quick overview, we decided to move away from the FAQ into the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is an FAQ. Let's be real here. But the idea was to sort of separate Kanka using Kanka related stuff. Like how do filters work, how do attributes templates work, and that sort of stuff, from the general Kanka as a business type thing. So Kanka as a business, which is now the FAQ, will be things like the pricing, backing up of your data, and just like things related to that. Whereas the knowledge base is now what we will be trying to expand as much as possible when it comes to how to help new users use Kanka. So I'm slowly going to be expanding on it. I hope to add, do the whole one article a day. I think is perhaps a bit ambitious, but if I do sort of 3 a week, then that's kind of where I want to be at. Just to kind of keep expanding it and making it so that new users don't necessarily. We're going back to the whole not having to be on Discord, and it's true that we do encourage people to go on Discord for help. But if we have a way for new users to have answers to a large amount of common questions, because the FAQ was just going to end up being this massive undertaking with too many questions, and so this is what we're working on now, or what I'm working on now, to make it just a bit easier to access basic information that will allow you to use Kanka easier without having to end up on Discord. So, yeah. So first of all, I think going back quickly to relations, there was a question from Zenek asking whether two characters will be linked with more than one connection, and then I will answer
Um,
follow-up questions on the knowledge base.
yeah, for that question, no. A relation is always between two entities in Kanka. Anything more would just make the poor servers cry each time there's a request trying to calculate relations on an entity. So just for simplicity of the code and my own sanity, it's limited to a relation is between two entities.
And yes, so the knowledge base was not love child because, as I said, Jay's usual answer to these things is people can use Discord, which which is true. People can
It's
use Discord.
true.
Like it is facts, but like it's in the spirit of trying to make things easier for our new users, it was something that I felt was quite important. And so if you see any spelling mistakes, it is 100% my fault. And so yeah, Zenek, it is kind of an internal wiki. Um, I'd be reluctant to call it a wiki because it aims to be quite sort of short and sweet. Like I don't think we'll be expanding. Basically, okay. So now thinking more about the general process, we we still kind of use the blog for tutorials. So longer tutorials, we still hope to be able to publish on the blog. But I felt that there was a need for something that wasn't going to be covered in a long tutorial, or if it was just going to be a small portion of the tutorial and deserved its own space. Because you're not going to create a blog article for what are entity pins, like the one that Jay literally just brought up. That seems like, a one sentence answer that you don't need to write a whole blog article for. And so, yeah, it's just internal wiki, expanded FAQ, whatever you want to call it. We will be making it prettier and we will be expanding on it as time goes by. This is just the first iteration where right now I'm just focused on getting the information in it, and then within the next weeks, months, we'll work on making it prettier and perhaps easier to navigate.
Including a search function.
So yeah, search function. Search function
Yeah.
is something that we're going to be needing to implement soonish, especially if it starts
Yeah.
expanding quite quickly. Because right now there are, I don't know, maybe about 15, 20 entries. When we get 30, 40, 50, yeah, maybe not, yeah, 15 entries. I don't know. So as the bigger it gets, the more the search function will become will become important. Yeah, for sure.
And also, yeah, this at the moment is just kind of retakes questions which are in the FAQ. But as Jon said, the idea is to make them to answer more questions without exploding the FAQ. And the FAQ used to be translated in all the languages of Kanka. And this is something also which will be added in the future to this new knowledge base. Because the thing with the knowledge, the FAQ, it's I had to manually in the code add these questions and ask the translators to translate them. And it's just not very reactive. And now with the knowledge base, Jon has control on that. He doesn't need to go through me and can add and change the way they look, how the questions, what questions are. So Jon can be more reactive with populating the knowledge base, including Valdu adding pictures, which was not possible in the FAQ
Yeah.
Previously.
So adding pictures is definitely something that I will be doing. For our first iteration, I'm all focused on, well, as Jay said, most of these questions, I'd say about half of these questions to 60% of these questions are recycled from the FAQ, or the FAQ, and then the rest is new stuff. But with the changes coming to the interface, the changes that have already been put in place, I didn't want to overload with pictures to just have to change them again in a month. But yes, pictures are something that we will be adding. Sorry, I'm reading Zenek's question. Will it be linked to main interface though, so one can access the knowledge base entry for what one sees on screen? Good question. Currently, no, is the answer to that. Currently, it's very much its own independent thing. It's in the footer, so you can open it in a new tab and then see if there's anything relevant to you. But as of right now, you cannot access it from the main interface. As Jay's highlighting right now, it's right there.
Yeah. No, I think what Zenek meant is, for example, if you're in the characters module, there's a button here, knowledge base about characters, which brings you to this section.
That's what I understood as well. But I mean, it doesn't exist right now, does it?
No.
So, yeah. Maybe one day, but not right now. Right now, it's very much its own thing, and very much like I think in that sense, it resembles the wiki, like the Kanka wiki more in the sense that like it's not integrated to the interface. But if you don't know where to start, then start there. Yeah, so if it's in the FAQ for the regulars here, will no longer be in the bingo, but you can just change it to it's in the large base. Either or, you can create two entries. It's in the knowledge base or it's in the FAQ. So yeah, the content packs. I might as well just say a quick word about it while we're here. We wanted to create a way for new users to be able to build up worlds quickly, or just to add to their own existing universe quite quickly without having to come up with whole, cities, worlds, or whatever. And so that was actually the initial thinking behind the content packs, at least the way I envisioned them. And so yeah, so I based this off Jay's Tylia campaign. And we're going to be creating. Well, I'm going to be creating a few more of these packs. But the idea is just, kind of plug and play. There's no adventure because it's not linked to any quest or anything like that. But it's just, if you want to beef up your universe, if you're looking for ways to expand without having to, I don't know, necessarily spend hours creating, or if you just kind of want to see, for our new users, maybe they just want to see what they can do, what they can't do, they could just quickly import that and just kind of play around with what's there, expand on it if they want to, just get rid of it if they don't want to. And fun fact, that one download is not me.
Oh.
So someone's legit using this.
Wait, was it me? No, I don't think it's me.
Don't say it's you, Jay. Don't say it's you.
Because then I'd have two artworks. Nope, it wasn't me.
Nice. So someone that isn't Jay or I has downloaded my content pack. I'm very, very happy about it. But yeah, I'll be creating a few more of these over the coming weeks, months when I get a second. And the idea is just to make either a new world builder's life easier, or an established world builder who wants maybe like a quick side adventure without having to create something from scratch, and wants just to quickly import a setting based on Jay's Tylia campaign. I know the answer. I mean, you would say, well, why don't you just go and copy from Jay's campaign into yours? Not everyone knows that works. Not everyone knows how that works, and so yeah, I just thought it'd be an easier, quicker way for some people to do that. Now, answering a few questions. Yeah, we'll do work on your content pack. And Jacob, did the entity limit for the marketplace get removed, added, or is it still not in play?
You'll have no idea what this means, John. This was a conversation I have with Jacob on the Discord, because Jacob created a massive content pack with lots of entities, and I originally thought of adding a limit because it can crash the import if like these massive content packs have 50 or 100 entities. The servers are limited to run and execute a script for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I did hint that I originally wanted to put a limit, but I haven't touched that. Basically, once someone creates a content pack so massive it crashes, then I can start looking at, okay, what should the limit be? But at the moment, there's no limit on how many entities a content pack can have. Like,
Yeah.
what makes it slow is images, because it copies the images from Amazon servers from one end to the campaign. And yeah, it can, if the script takes longer than 30 if the import takes longer than 30 seconds, then I'll have to A, put a limit, or B, change how imports work and make it in a background process, which might be probably the best option. But then I need a way to notify users, hey, these are all the entities which were created, deleted. And then and that again ties back to how can we better notify users of stuff happening in their campaign.
Yeah. I think for reference, the one I did has about 30 entities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. But you know, like as a side note to that, the 30-second rule. I have well, I mean, we've got an admin dashboard, of course, for spying on our users mostly. But like it was interesting to see at what point, because there's still that 30-second timeout for the advanced information that it goes like it goes to look for, and that doesn't work anymore because now it takes too long. But it was funny to see like the point at which it just stopped working. It was that feeling of every day the truck was getting just a bit heavier because there were more and more users, and then one day the truck was too heavy. So
yeah, the bridge was too weak.
So yeah,
because now we no longer have quick information on what's the biggest campaign entity wise, what's the biggest campaign in members, because those scripts now take too long to calculate.
Sad times. I can no longer show off these stats. But
well, you can still ask me, and I can run them on the server without having the 30-second limit. But then the whole server will slow down.
The whole point was not to have to go through you every time.
Mm-hmm.
To add notes and permissions to the content pack.
No, permissions would be super. It'd just be too much chaos, because then you'd have to be able to add roles in a content pack. Entity notes is planned, like many things for the marketplace, but hasn't been added yet.
Yeah.
But permissions, I don't think the only permission is, I think, private. If I go on a content pack, wrong interface.
I don't think entity notes are currently available on packs.
No, privacy is the only option to make an entity private or not. But deeper permissions would that no. Notes. Yeah, notes can be added.
Oh,
it's the last one before tag.
My bad. I stand corrected.
Note. Hello, this is the note. Yes. Smaller. But yeah, notes can be. Can be done.
It's pretty sexy, isn't it?
Okay, and Jacob did mean private. So yeah, that's all possible. Let's quickly do a demo. Since we are here, let's make it private. Let's go into, I think this campaign installed Party Quest. No, I did not install it.
Notes on other entities is what he meant.
Notes on other entities. No, that's not possible. But now if I go and do bim bam bosh, import my Q&A note. It is a note, and it is private. So that works. And encoding errors. So that is fine.
Just I think that was actually what it looked like in, wasn't it? If you go back to the marketplace.
Yeah, but this is twice encoded now here.
Oh.
So don't worry about it. Let's just ignore that part. Because when I edit it, it's correct, and here it's displayed because it escaped, and it's escaped again when the entity is saved. Yeah. Let's ignore that. It works.
Great. Well, we are kind of hitting the
Interesting.
hour mark.
Yeah, please continue. I'm.
No, that's pretty much it. We are kind of hitting the hour mark. I mean, subtract 10 minutes for the technical difficulties, but Jacob, admins have special rights. No,
How
I
does
say that. I'm
Q&A
actually,
nodes?
I'm not even sure how he did it because when I do plugins, I also have to submit them for approval. I can accept them myself, which is weird, but like I can submit. I have to submit them as well. But yeah, I don't know if there are any further questions before we completely veer off topic to the life of being an admin.
Interesting.
What's
Yes, there's a. No, I'm just confused why when I search Q&A node, it tells me there's another entity of this type with the same similar name. Q&A node is telling me backstory and questions apparently has a similar name. Much to my surprise.
That sounds pretty similar to me.
And the
So Jacob has a question about the status of events. I'm not sure I understand what you mean there.
community events.
Yes, but the status of them?
How long it takes us to.
Yeah. That's very much based on how much I bug Jay and how on the ball I am. It's on me. So currently, the latest iteration of, I mean, we're still waiting to choose a winner for the birthday event, and Jay gave me his scoring earlier today, so I will be honestly not tonight. Like I'll do it tomorrow. I'll have a look tomorrow, and decide. Well, decide. I'll tally Jay's vote, my vote, and I think it was keep on scrolling. Was it keep on scrolling?
The judge, yeah.
So I will. R&D Morris. Anyway, I will.
Yeah,
I will announce the winner for the birthday event tomorrow, and then I do try. Yeah, we need to be better with events. We're not. I'm not very good. This is my fault. I'm not necessarily as quick as I need to be. I think it's one of those things where I always just forget about them. Like I know they're ongoing, and like I know when they're finished, but yeah, I then have to contact the person who needs to read them and send. We're also trying to. Well, we're trying to. I need to try and convince Jay to build a better interface for that because the more entries there are, the harder it becomes. Because everything goes through Discord right now. Going back to Discord, and if the winner isn't on Discord, it is a bit of a nightmare. And even last time around, we had quite a few entries. We had like about 10 entries, and sending 10 entries over Discord is just basically just like walls of text. So yeah, we need to find a better way to do it, and a way that'll make it so that we're more on the ball when it comes to them.
One thing I did want to add to this is if you won in a previous event, you can still participate. Where just the winner of the last winner is a judge on the new event. That's the only limitation. But if you participated and you were the winner like 2 events ago, and there's a new event which you find fun and exciting, you can totally participate.
The community tutorial.
This is when about a month ago, we started asking people to help us with the blog to write tutorials.
Oh, Yeah, I actually got earlier today the only draft that I've received. We were preparing for the live stream, so I didn't have time to read through that. But if it goes well, hopefully we'll be able to have something published. I know, Jacob, you actually contacted me. Um, so Jesus, I've just noticed I forgot to get back to you. Why am I so bad with these things? Yeah, it's the most
We've
random.
had this last month has been busy for us in real life.
Yeah, I had a move to take care of, and then just like there's been a lot of things on our plate, well, on my plate at least, but also really randomly, like my I don't pay as much attention to Discord as I do to the emails and stuff. So so I actually like I've just noticed that I need to give you feedback on your tutorial. So yes, thank you, Jacob,
What you're,
for
what you're telling me is I should build a bot which anything in Discord to you should be sent as an email.
yes.
No, because I get a copy of everything.
But yeah, I promise, Jacob, I'm going to write it on a post-it right now, and I will send it. I will give you my comments tomorrow. Um, I'm writing it right now.
And Charalampos, we look for. I say we, but John will look forward to seeing it. Your draft.
This face can
Every
become a
chat
meme. It can become like an emoji in our server as well.
Yeah.
Where's Ornstein when we need him? Every chat, yeah, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a busy few weeks. I'm just about landing on my feet right now. Anyway, uh,
All right.
there is one last comment from Wadu, who can't wait to see us, either one of us or both of us, participating in the games. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll
I was supposed to participate in beef potatoes. With what system? I forgot the name of the system because I want to run some games. I miss running games in English and doing silly accents. So that's why I want to participate and
I
be able to DM.
I will participate. At some point, I will I will participate. Once I get through the backlog of reading through these tutorials. But yeah, Tales of Everywhere. That's one. I forgot the word. But yeah, we will try and make an appearance. I think in general, I might try and be a bit more active on the voice channels in our Discord. Um, just kind of be around for a chat for whoever wants to. As I say, both of us are pretty much on Discord all the time anyway, so it's not a big deal whether we're available. Cool. Um, yeah, I think we've pretty much hit a dead end right now. Oh, I summoned Ornstein.
Jacob sent a screenshot and I tagged him so he can do his magic.
Nice. Nice. Anyway, unless there are any final questions, I think that's going to be all from us for this time around. Ironclad commitment, yeah. I'm notoriously flaky. But yeah. Yeah. First, I need to read through the tutorial posts. And so yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Maybe just what to look forward to maybe with the next updates. I haven't started working on 1.13 yet. There are Pori involved. in some form the runner-up of the last community vote. So role permissions on entity nodes. Because it's funny, we got an email asking if that's a feature this week. And the rest, yeah, no idea. We'll see what's in the backlog, which sounds fun to build.
For sure.
And yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for joining. Hope you got the answers to all the deep questions you had about Kanka, life, and the meaning of everything.
42. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah.
And see you next month.
Yeah, we'll be back in a month, and thanks for all the fish. Sorry. Yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll be around if you need us. Great. Sorry, I'm tired. Right,
Yeah.
I'm
Bye-bye, everyone.
I'm gonna stop the stream. Bye everyone.